İngiltere'nin 3 ayrı bölgesinde hukuki konularınıza çözümler sunan, alanında uzman avukatların bulunduğu Manak Solicitors avukatlık firmasından vasiyet hukuku avukatı Nosheen Bukharı programımızın konuğu oldu. Vasiyetnameler, kalıcı vekaletnameler, koruma mahkemesi uygulamaları, veraset ve güven işleriyle bağlantılı tüm konularda uzmanlaşmış, deneyimli bir özel müşteri avukatıdır efendim kendisi. Bu konularla alakalı tüm işlemleriniz için kendisine ve Manak Solicitors'a ulaşabilirsiniz. Manak Solicitors'tayız. Yanımızda da veraset ve vasiyet işlemlerinizi yapabileceğiniz avukat Nosheen Bukharı bizlerle birlikte efendim. Pleasure to have you in our program, and we're going to talk about something important and serious. First, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, of course. My name is Nosheen Bukharı and I'm a private client solicitor at Manak Solicitors. I'm also a director here and I primarily work in assisting people in securing their wills.
Yes. So why is it important to have a will in place?
Because a will sets out what would happen to your estate if you die. So if you die, who does your house go to, who does your money go to, and also who deals with your estate. Because you have to apply to court when somebody dies to give you permission to be able to sell the house or go to the bank and take the monies from the bank. And you have somebody in your will who is called the executor, and it is the executor's responsibility to deal with your monies and to make sure it goes to your children or your wife or charity, whoever you want it to go to. So that is why it's important to have a will in place.
Yeah, what if you don't have a valid will?
If you don't have a valid will, then your money, your house might not go to your family. It might go to distant family members. If you have no family members, it might go to the government. So it's important that you have a will saying that your estate, your monies go to, for example, your wife or your children. And if you, for example, have a will and you give everything to your wife, then you don't have to pay tax. Because in the UK, when somebody dies, you have to pay tax on their estate. So it's quite important that you have a tax-efficient will. And a lot of people think that if they die, everything will automatically go to their wife or their husband. It doesn't. Only a certain sum goes to them. Only like £320,000 goes to your spouse. The rest will be shared between your children and your wife. And that is not necessarily tax efficient and not a good way to for your will, for your estate to pass.
Okay, so why do we need to use a solicitor to draft a will?
If you use a solicitor will make sure that they check everything is right. So they will check first of all that you are mentally well, you know what you're doing when you do a will, that you're not being forced to do a will. So for example, you've got 4 children and one of your children says, "Dad, do a will, leaving everything to me." And then you die and the other children say, "Why haven't I got anything?" So if you go and see a solicitor will make sure that you know you're doing a will, you've got mental capacity, you know what monies you've got, and you know who you should give your estate to, instead of, for example, somebody forcing you to do a will and then afterwards when you die your children go to court and there becomes a big court fight. So it's good to use a solicitor because solicitor will keep a record of everything you've discussed and check that you have mental capacity, you know what you're doing. So that's why I would recommend you use a solicitor to draft a will and not do a homemade will, because homemade wills, a lot of them are not drafted properly because they have to be drafted in a certain way and witnessed in a certain way. So it's always good to use a solicitor to do your will.
What about if someone has lost capability?
Okay, so if somebody has lost capacity, then unfortunately they can't do a will, because you can only do a will when you know what you're doing, when your memory is there, you're fully functioning. So unfortunately you won't be able to do a will, and so your estate will pass. For example, if you haven't got wife or children, your estate might pass to your parents or to your brothers and sisters, and you might not speak to your brothers and sisters, or if you have no family, it might go to distant cousins, or it might go to the government, and so that's not probably what you want. So it's a good idea to do your will whilst you've got capacity, and also if capacity is an issue, you should also consider putting in place powers of attorney. So power of attorney gives somebody else power to deal with your money and your health if you lose capacity. So that's another thing that solicitors can help you to do, to make sure your will and your power of attorney is in place, so that if anything happens to you as you get older, or if you, God forbid, die, then you've got somebody there who will deal with your estate or deal with your money for you.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Nosheen. And
You're welcome.
Tabii ki buradan şunu söylemem gerekiyor efendim. Sizin de ailenizde veraset işlemleri ya da kendiniz bir vasiyet imzalamak, çocuklarınıza, eşinize neyin bırakılması gerektiğini bildirmek istiyorsanız Manak Solicitors'a ulaşabilirsiniz ve avukat Nosheen Bukharı'ya ulaşıp gerekli detaylı bilgiler alabilirsiniz diyelim. Thank you very much.
Thank you.